My brother-in-law died suddenly, and now my sister and her kids have to sell their home. That's why I told my husband we could not put off getting life insurance any longer. An agent offered us a 10-year, $500,000 policy for nearly $50 a month. Then we called SelectQuote. SelectQuote found us identical coverage for only $19 a month, a savings of $369 a year.
Whether you need a $500,000 policy or a $5 million policy, SelectQuote could save you more than 50% on term life insurance.
For your free quote, go to SelectQuote.com. SelectQuote.com. That's SelectQuote.com.
SelectQuote. We shop. You save. Full details on example policies at SelectQuote.com/commercials.
I'm going to do a purge. You know what I mean? Like, just be like, let's break the grid. Which you guys got pretty close to doing.
Do that sometimes. Oh yeah,
that was hilarious. Oh my god. Oh boy, I'm gonna save that for like when we really get started. But yeah, definitely, dude. I can tell you guys stories about that. That was wild. You usually get in before that happens though, so that's like the funniest thing.
Yeah, that's true. I'm usually early in on the roster. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I've been there, a few times, once or twice, and that's happened. Always
man.
Pull it through, though.
Oh, yeah. I mean, like, we have one hell of a voyage, man. Like, I'm like this. All right, crew, this is what we're going to do. We're going to ride through this damn thing, and we're going to see what happens. If Spreaker upchucks, we will side B this shit. If we,
Exactly, man. It's not the, it's not the quality of the ship. It's the captain, right?
Yeah. And then not only that, the stability of the crew, and we're pretty stable right now, so, nothing bad.
Yeah.
Okay, fine. We'll team up. I'm J-Man, and this is J360 Hangouts here on
J360 Radio!
Hey, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to J360 Hangouts number 11. Yes, right here in Jammaversary month. I'm J-Man, of course, and with me today is an important special guest. He just released his album in this month, of course. The master of the sweaty dance, if you don't mind me saying that.
Neon Sweatsuit.
Hey everybody. It's me. It's Carter from Neon Sweatsuit. What's up? Super glad to be here on the show today, Jay. That's awesome.
Yes. It's good
awesome
to have you.
You had me, so
Definitely,
yeah,
man.
Excited to chat about music and nerd stuff and whatever.
Oh yeah, we're gonna have a good time, man. This show's an hour, and we can fill that hour up too. Not to mention your 4 tracks there, or 3 or 4 tracks. Yes. Actually, no, we'll go for 4. Yeah, we get it. We good. It's Jammaversary month. Break all the rules. I make them.
4. Yeah. Exactly. We'll do whatever we feel like. Yeah.
Yeah, man. You shoot, and it's even better when you own the network.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, you know something though? Going back into that Bond whole thing, like it's not even just him; it's the villains.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. What are your thoughts on the villains?
Oh man, some of them they go through a lot of hell, but outside the ones that are megalomania and where they want to take over the world, there are some that are really, really sympathetic though. Like, I don't think Goldfinger would be considered sympathetic, and I don't think Dr. No would be. But I would like to say like Lashif. Lashif was just a hired hand, from like Casino Royale. And then, like, Salva from
played him
Skyfall.
again. Remind me who played Chief again.
Oh, Mads Mikkelsen.
Oh, that's right.
He's the guy that has like that little problem where like blood gets in his eye and stuff like that. He's got that scar. No, and they all have like some sort of ailment to them, akin to like how Batman's villains do.
Yeah, Bond villains. They're always interesting villains.
And
they were always like there was always a charisma, that didn't always have with with movie villains. I feel like that's like, as much as an actor would want to get the Bond role, the villain is like the cooler role in that movie.
Sure is. It doesn't matter what any of these marks say, it's true. Just letting them know. Like right off the bat,
Exactly.
come on now. If a villain is not interesting, that hero has to do double duty to go ahead and be twice as cool. You understand what I'm saying? It's kind of like when you watch a Spider-Man movie and then like his villains are a lot more interesting than him sometimes. Like they dropped the ball on Amazing Spider-Man 2 because Electro was a more interesting villain than all that other shit. Just saying.
Yeah.
I will never let it go. That's just me, bro. I mean, I'll always defend Spider-Man in ways, because the MCU Spider-Man is kind of. I'm still out in the jury with that one, but
I don't. We were talking earlier about like it's hard to know where to get started, and like Spider-Man is just one of those where I'm just so like I've lost track on just how many there are. There's been so many different nations of Spider-Man that I'm gonna sound like like I'm old, but yeah, man, just lost track.
I mean, it happens though, because now like the universe is all converged. Like the whole Spider-Verse thing is like a real thing now. So yeah, I'll draw you a map sometime. But as of course though, this episode is
helpful.
Oh yeah, I got you, man. I got you. By the way, this whole episode though is about you, my brother. And you know what? To go ahead and let the people get to know Neon Sweatsuit, Carter, tell us, how'd you get started in like producing music and like beginning with Neon Sweatsuit? Like, what's the story?
Yeah, man. Well, I played bass for like the longest time. Since I was like 11 years old, and so in playing bass forever and playing in bands. I've always been kind of like partial to like funk bands and that kind of stuff. And I kind of started playing piano maybe 6-7 years ago, and I was I was kind of like getting to this point musically where I wanted to do more than just play the bass, I guess. Like I still really wanted to play bass and make that my main thing, but I just wanted to like learn more about composition and kind of when you're just playing kind of like funk bass, a lot of times you're even though you're playing, you get to play really interesting bass lines. You don't necessarily like know about all the different like interesting chord movement and like harmonies that are going on that really like make that kind of music awesome. Like funk, bass gets a lot of credit. There's a lot of really kind of interesting other parts that make it work. So I started getting into piano back in like 12 and kind of like looping my own stuff, and never really did any real project with that. And then my most recent project has been a 10-piece funk band, and that's been going on since like 2016, 2017. And recently we kind of had to like put a pause on that because, COVID hit and we couldn't get together for rehearsals anymore. And people in like a tiny unventilated room wasn't the greatest idea. So we had to like take a bit of a step back from that and kind of tried to do a little something where we would record and do kind of like the remote band stuff. It was just so hard to organize with 10 people. throughout all that, I got into recording and building a little home studio for myself. And in doing that, I started kind of composing my own stuff, and what I'd love to do, like my own like little retro funk project that I can use all my synths and still play some bass and record, and also really getting into animation and like pixel art at the time. So it became a really nice like mashup of kind of like the creative stuff I wanted to do. That happened, mid last year, working on recording and figuring all that out, and some other little details happened and got here, man. So yeah, and I've been like learning ever since too. Like I put out my first album, which was called Jambot Synth Party, back in October. And even since then, I've kind of like learned a world of new stuff about like recording techniques, and just like a lot of it has been like how to approach recording. 'Cause I've always kind of written music. I've never like recorded music myself before. I've always like written it down in notation, approaching it from like a standpoint of like playing it and recording it and being able to like go back and redo takes and all that stuff. That was like probably the biggest thing to kind of like figure out. So I hope that gives you a good answer to that question.
Oh, it definitely does, man. I mean, that is a better origin story than the one I had planned. See, you were blasted from the planet Funkatron, and then you had to land here to go ahead and spread the word of the great 10 records of funk that would allow everybody to enjoy real good music, right? And then everybody would start to get into the vibe, and then that vibe would be known as the Neon Sweatsuit, because you wear a sweatsuit as you land it. And not only that, playing the guitar and the bass managed to bring everybody together in a pure unity that somehow had to be sent over to J360 Jams, where we met up and the ultimate partnership began.
And I like that. I'm gonna have to use that one now.
Hey, it's all yours,
rewind
bro.
it, and I'll do that again.
It's all yours, brother. Yes, totally, dude. I love that, Carter. That is
right.
Awesome. Nice.
I always love the really like kind of like sweaty, like the gym wave sort of vibe, and kind of mixed with like chip tune. So that was a big inspiration too.
Oh, definitely. Oh, by the way, I would like to get some tips on how to do some of that chip waving, man, because hey, I'm trying to step in too.
Yeah, nice, man.
Yeah, the hosts want to have some fun with everybody.
I definitely can give you some tips on that, man. At least for what's worked for me. Would love to talk about that.
Oh yeah.
I mean, like part of it for me is just like what I've liked about that stuff is you don't need synths that have like a crazy like tonal range to do chiptune. You just basically like your most like stripped down kind of like synth patches and use some of those, and that's that. I think that's kind of like the essence for me. I mean, I think you can definitely there's probably some ways you could do it with more expensive equipment, but for me, like I get a Roland Gaia, and that's like it's been kind of like my chiptune factory right there. That's
nice.
It's yeah, man. That one is like a really nice. I also have a Juno DS, what is 60, 61, 62. And I mean, like a Juno is like the legendary synth, and this is like the reissue, the modern reissue of it. So, I mean, like I can't say enough great things about that one, but really, like it's the Gaia for getting those really like chippy tunes, chippy sounds, like because it gives you just a lot of options with like crafting your own waveform. So with the Juno, it doesn't have the crazy list of like presets and different keyboard and organ and brass patches and that kind of thing, but it has a ton of just like maneuverability with creating your own synth patches. And yeah, so it's easy to make a nice little bank of like, you got your square wave patch, and you got a saw patch and a sign patch, and all the little noises, I'll usually make on that Roland Gaia too. So yeah, that's been my thing, man.
Very nice, dude. Very nice. Like, hey, you got a YouTube, right?
Yeah.
Tutorials. You got to do a tutorial at least once or twice. I mean, I'm just making a suggestion, but I would love to see a tutorial from you. That would be awesome.
Sure. I've definitely, man. I've thought about it. Just never got around to doing it. So, yeah, that's a good idea.
Hey, as I take the fight to J360 TV, I mean, I am going to throw some suggestions to you guys because the party will be going there. Not all the time, but it will be. Know what I mean? And that is, oh my god, dude, like your story here is just beautiful, which is going to lead us into our first track of the evening, and it's called Juicy, because that is juicy. Information and all. All right, ladies and gentlemen, here comes Juicy from Neon Sweatsuit. Take a listen. Okay, and that was Juicy from Neon Sweatsuit. My man, that was one funky track, but I like it. I mean, it makes me think about making like a nice little mix for myself, but I don't drink, so if anything, let's see 7-Up and maybe you know what? I used to do this stuff all the time when I was 20. I don't know, maybe I'm getting that new senile that they say 30s get. But it is what it is. It'll come back to me a little bit later. Other than that, though, man, I'm telling you, like, what we're listening to is we're listening to parts from the...
Okay, round 2. Name something that's not boring.
A laundry? Ooh, a book club. Computer solitaire, huh?
Ah, sorry, we were looking for Chumba Casino. That's right, ChumbaCasino.com has over 100 casino-style games. Join today and play for free for your chance to redeem some serious prizes. ChumbaCasino.com. No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited by law. 18+ terms and conditions apply. See website for details.
With the Lucky Land Slots, you can get lucky just about anywhere.
This is your captain speaking. We've got clear runway and the weather's fine, but we're just going to circle up here a while and get lucky. No, nothing like that. It's just these cash prizes add up quick. So I suggest you sit back, keep your tray table upright, and start getting lucky.
Play for free at LuckyLandSlots.com. Are you feeling lucky? No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited by law. 18+ terms and conditions apply. See website for details.
Sweaty Pants, Sweaty Dance album. Because, I mean, it was a hard pick to pick these songs tonight. I like them all, dude. Like, you are a godsend on this show.
Thanks, man. Well, it's been super fun to do this, to like make this album. And, yeah, I'm getting inspired by the J360 Legion. So, it's been like really like satisfying to be able to like make this and show it to everybody.
Oh yeah, it's fantastic.
So thanks
definitely we're gonna make that album of the week cut. I just made sure that I was like, yep, he's on here. This is gonna happen. And then when I started doing that spotlight feature on my website again, you're a shoo-in for it, bro.
Yeah.
You're definitely on it.
Thanks, man.
I just got to go ahead and just lay it all out, and it's all set.
Gotta say, I'm honored, man. So, thank you.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah,
definitely.
and another thing about Juicy too is I just put out a video for that. If anybody wants to check that out, it's on my YouTube, so you can just search Neon Sweatsuit on YouTube and find that. It's the latest one, so
nice.
It should be pretty easy. Yeah, I've got a few more too. I think some of the other songs you're going to play, I've got a video or two coming out for.
You don't say. I got plans, bro, and I'm going to unleash them on Tuesday, so I'll let you know what's happening. Actually, you know what? You're already here. I'll let you know what's happening after the show. You all out there in the audience have to wait. Laugh at you, point at you, laugh. It's the truth, though. And besides, I've always followed through on that whole thing and giving you guys those big parties and stuff. You know how it goes here. You just gonna have to wait.
Yeah, man.
Especially because you got a big one happening right now. What's up?
Yeah, exactly. I trust you, man. Jammaversary's been spectacular so far. So
it's been insane and lit.
Along for the ride.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
And here we are on the 4th week, man. Hey, speaking of which, do you have a story behind the whole Sweaty Pants, Sweaty Dance album? Like, what inspired
behind the album? Yeah, well, we were talking earlier, man, about kind of like writing stuff down, and for me, like after I did that first album, which back in October, Jambot Synth Party, my first release, which was kind of like a handful of songs, the ones that I liked best, and kind of threw them together and then like put them in what I felt was like an appropriately named package, appropriately named album. And then with Sweaty Pants, Sweaty Dance, I mean, I guess like, you put those things out and then you kind of like, sometimes you get a little like buyer's remorse, or you feel like, oh, if I would have done this, if I did this again, I would have done this differently or that differently. And, I guess with that first album, I felt like it had a lot of things I really liked, but one of the things that was lacking was kind of like a cohesion and like a lack of like connecting thread. And so with Sweaty Pants, Sweaty Dance, I wanted to approach it in like, in a way that was a little better planned. I kind of wrote things out a little more. I took a look at like what kind of album I want to make, like what kind of like what does Neon Sweatsuit have to say is sort of like what I sort of asked myself, right? And then I kind of like put it together a little more like top down from there. So every time I thought of a good like track name, I would write it down, and then like kind of like envisioned a group of like 11 different tracks. And like once I thought I had like a good list, then I started writing to like fill out those song titles, you know what I mean? Which is a little different approach for me. Like normally I would, especially writing instrumental music, it's like I'd write the music and then like think of a name for it or think of like a purpose. But no, it was really nice kind of like reverse engineering it, because like it was looking within restraints, which I think can be a really like a good exercise as a, whatever the art is that you're trying to do. So
yeah, I agree with that. Very nice. Okay. And as we are mentioning that, I gotta ask you about your titles sometime, because they are so good. This one is actually the title track from the album we're gonna listen to next. It's called Sweaty Pants, Sweaty Dance by Neon Sweatsuit. Take it away, sir.
This one goes on to the J360 Jams crew. It's Friday night. Let's
Alright, that was Sweaty Pants, Sweaty Dance from Neon Sweatsuit. 2 hot hits tonight. And don't you worry, as I mentioned that 4th track, we are going to go ahead and break the rules, and we're going to play at least 4 of his tracks tonight. If you have not checked out Sweaty Pants, Sweaty Dance, the album, what are you doing with your life? Get on this. Come on now, show your support. Be behind him. I know I am. And you know something else, right? Oh yeah, Neon Sweatsuit. I remember us talking about video games at some time. So what games are you playing lately?
Been on of the I've been playing a lot of indie games and pixel art. You see a lot of the pixel art I put out, and
I do.
So get in. Yeah, I like playing a lot of those kind of games. So I was playing this game Blasphemous recently. That was a really cool game. So definitely want to shout that one out. I played this game called Naruto Boy. Have you heard of that? That one just came out.
That sounds familiar.
Kind of it's like a pixel art, like a Metroidvania style game.
Ooh,
and that one
nice.
was cool. I really loved the artwork in that one. It was gameplay wise was kind of okay. I'd say overall a 7, 6 or 7 out of 10. But at least for synthwave style retro art, that had some really cool stuff. So
very cool, very cool.
Playing that, yeah. Played Celeste. You ever played that game? That's another pixel art, kind of I think indie game.
Celeste, huh? Sounds like space almost. Is it space?
It's not space. It's like climbing a mountain. It's got really cool pixel art backgrounds though. The colors just look really amazing, and it was overall a pretty fun game to play. It was kind of like a platformer, like a precision platformer, and you kind of have like a double jump, or it's like a air dash move, So that's sort of like the main mechanic in the game. You kind of do a lot of jumping and then dashing, and yeah, it's pretty fun, pretty challenging. Good game overall.
Yeah, that sounds pretty amazing, my dude. I gotta look into that. Man, pixel art.
What are
in
you
the
playing?
background. Oh, well, nowadays I'm playing more PS2 right now. I managed to do some upgrades to it. I got the vertical stand for it finally, and I also have dude, I've been going through hell trying to get the perfect fight pad for this system. And for a while there I couldn't find anything. I found a Street Fighter one, but it shorts out after a while. Maybe my hands are too rough. I don't know. But this particular one...
It's a fight pad.
Oh, remember, if you've grown up during the Sega Genesis time, where it had the 6-button fight pad and stuff like that? With the D-pad and everything?
Like a controller extension, basically, that,
yes.
makes it, optimizes it for a particular game.
Yes, like, I'm all about Street Fighter, Mortal Kombat, any fighting game you think of, I played it. So, yeah,
nice.
And I got a lot of them on PS2, and I was hunting for this damn pad, and it turned out to be a Sega Saturn PS2 pad. Like, they made the Sega Saturn pad for PS2, and I bought it.
Oh, damn! So you can do like button arrangements like it's a Sega Saturn.
Bro, I can do combo chains now. Yes.
Nice. Man, that's awesome.
I'm back, brother. I'm back.
I was into some of the Mortal Kombat games growing up. My favorite one was Mortal Kombat 3 Ultimate for Super Nintendo. Did you ever play that one?
Dude, you're my brother for life. That right there, yes, I have.
Yeah,
I make sure I got a copy of that on every system.
Yeah, man, that one, because like everybody will say like 1 or 2 are really good, and like those ones are like decent, but then 3 Ultimate was the one where they added, you could do like 30 different characters, and you had like everybody had like cool move to learn,
brutalities and all.
Tight.
Yeah. Oh yes, dude. If we ever find an online version of that, we are gonna have to bout. We're gonna have to do it. Actually, no. Yeah. If you have a PS2, no, hold on. Yes. The answer to that is all yes. But PS3, do you have the version of it? Like, do you have it? Because they had one called Arcade Collection. Ah, damn.
Don't have any consoles, actually.
Okay, so PC it is then. As soon as we find an online version of that, it's on.
Totally. Yeah, I would be into that, definitely.
Totally. And I host a video game series called the J360 Power Play. Not to toot my own horn, just being honest.
Yeah, it's a pretty cool show, so...
Oh, thank you.
Go play.
Yeah. I'm sure you were there when you saw me throw the Sentinel on top of Alan playing as Cyclops in the X-Men play, right? So it's like...
Wait, no, I didn't. I saw the Doom one recently.
That one was wild.
I can't remember who you were playing with.
Oh, me and Al were shooting each other? Yeah, that was funny. Well, went through a lot of wild stuff in that. Anyway, you were saying?
Did you ever play... that reminded me of... Like, I mean, we talked about some Bond movies earlier, so like GoldenEye, of course, but then like
definitely,
we always played Perfect Dark. We played GoldenEye a little bit, but Perfect Dark was like the kind of like the sequel to GoldenEye, or like what I remember was that they were trying to make an actual sequel to GoldenEye, and then they couldn't like license it. So they basically, followed through with making the game, but just, a proprietary sort of like a property. It wasn't, it wasn't GoldenEye anything. It wasn't any Bond licensing. So, Perfect Dark was like, it was story mode was like meh, but multiplayer was like everything about GoldenEye times 10. You could get a million different guns, and like you could add in like computer sims, so you would have like a ton of different people in the game. And at Perfect Dark, man, we used to do a bunch of those late nights.
It's funny. Alan always brings that up to me sometimes. He's like, we need to play Perfect Dark. I'm like, yeah, that sounds pretty cool. It takes me back. So I know I'm right there with you. Speaking of which, I'm thinking, you got PC stuff. You got Game Pass, right?
Game Pass? No, I don't think so. I have Steam. I've got BattleNet too.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what I got.
Well, we'll figure out a way to work that out, because he's been talking about it. I'm all for playing games with you guys, so we just got to get in the same ballpark. Yeah. We're all on Discord now, so why not?
Yeah, totally. I'm down. I haven't done as much of like the online game, like community gaming and stuff, but like Yeah, I'm into it. A lot of the stuff I've been playing lately has been like, these kind of like these like retro games that are like Celeste, for example. That was kind of like Mario. It's not really like a,
Mm-hmm. And speaking of which, this is the month of June
with many people.
So,
I
was saying, hey, this is the month of June, right? It came out in June 23rd, 1991, right?
No.
Sonic the Hedgehog, bro.
Did. Oh, nice.
Yeah, dude. Yeah. Sonic Day's coming up.
Classic.
Yes. I play him all the time.
That's awesome. Yeah. What's your favorite Sonic game?
My favorite Sonic game is actually Sonic 2. Sonic 2 is actually my favorite one, yeah. Because, it introduced Tails, and the music was just pumping.
Oh, yeah.
But you see, like, Sonic 3 and Knuckles is a very close second, too. Very close second.
I was going to say Sonic 2 also. So, not to just say that to agree with you. I was totally planning on saying that before.
Oh, dude, it was like my first game for, like, Sega Genesis, It's like, yes.
Yeah, it's so good. The music is,
like, as soon as you get to Chemical Hill Zone, it's like, yes!
Oh, yeah.
Yes!
Yeah. Oh, we're probably not synced up. It sounded perfect in my head. So.
Oh, it sure did to me, man. It was good to me too. But the only problem I have with Sonic 2 is like when you're in the damn special stage and Tails has more rings than you, and then like the bombs are coming, you're like, come on, damn it!
Oh, that special stage. I had an older brother, or I have an older brother, and so that's the origin of any like animosity between brothers.
Mm-hmm.
Is playing the Sonic 2 special stage together, and
yes,
it's everyone for themselves. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah,
that's an ugly situation. Is bound to arise. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. If anybody goes ahead and said Among Us is the one that destroys a lot of friendships and brotherhoods, they have not experienced Sonic 2 special stages.
Yeah, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Kids getting their relationships destroyed by Among Us haven't had them tested in the the battlegrounds of the Sonic 2 special stages.
Oh yes, man. Lots and lots of respect was lost those days.
Yeah, exactly.
The same can be said for like if you're playing Streets of Rage and friendly fire is on. Whereas like you're beating up the goon, so you try to help out your brother or whatever, and then all of a sudden you beat his ass too, and it's like, oh.
Yeah. Why? And like Turtles, I think had that.
Yes.
Too. I'll just like I don't get it. That's one of those things that like there's no point.
I think it happened because
fire. Why do we need to?
I think it happened because Final Fight. Final Fight was about that life. I think that's what happened.
Which one was Final Fight? That one rings a bell.
That was the one that was more or less like.
Force?
Close, but that was the one that was more or less like Street Fighter's cousin, if anything. Like it's like that side-scrolling beat 'em up with Mike Hagger and Cody and Guy, and they had to go save like Mike Hagger's daughter as they battled through the rough streets of Metro City. Like you'd know it if you saw it. Like,
sure.
It's one of those kind of games. I'll send you a picture to it sometime. I'm kind of locked in right now, but
Yeah, sure. Well, I think the other one I was thinking of was Fighting Force, the 64 game.
That's a good one.
The other alliterative F title.
Because that was supposed to be a Streets of Rage title.
Wasn't it?
Mm-hmm. And then they couldn't get the rights to it, so they went ahead and they made it into Fighting Force.
Oh, man.
Hmm?
That's, it's funny, like, not to, like, tangent too hard, but Nintendo 64 is, like, I have so much, like, nostalgia for that system, but they didn't have a lot of games on there, and, like, there were even, like, fewer licensed games, and, like, that's one of the things I liked about PS2 is like, I mean, like Sony just like licenses. They do licenses with everybody. So, like, they do a ton of games on PS2, whereas, like, Nintendo, like, the only licensing thing they had, I think, was GoldenEye, and then, like, I don't know, maybe a couple others. But it's all, like, proprietary.
Oh, yeah, but, you know, Nintendo was always like that when it came to certain situations and stuff. Yeah. Like, you didn't really do too much of anything without their say-so on stuff, and it's like, yeah, this is why, like, certain times, you know, like, I'll be honest with you, Mario 64 got me interested in Nintendo 64, let's just be honest, but then, like, I started looking at, like, Final Fantasy 7, and I started looking at, like, the Street Fighter games being over there, and, like, it seemed like PlayStation just had, like, a bigger party lot, and I was like, I need to be a part of it, so I took my jump over there as soon as the PlayStation 2 came out, so, and I never looked back, really.
Yeah. I did have a PlayStation 2, and that was, I mean, I think, you know, you could argue that was a better system than 64. Like, I'm here for that argument. You know, I'm not making it right now.
Oh, you're not hurting me, man. You're telling the truth. Go on.
You're making it. You know, I mean, it's just like, I think, you know, since I've, like, now we're at that point where we can, like, be nostalgic about E1, like, you know, PS2 it's like came out damn near 20 years ago now.
Yeah, it did.
But you know, like, with Nintendo 64, when you go back and, like, look at the just, like, catalog of games, there's not that much. Like, there really was relatively few games for that system, and then PS2 just had an incredible amount of games. And I maybe, like, 8 years ago or so, a buddy of mine, my roommate at the time, we went and went to GameStop to, like, kind of check out the selection on PS2 games, because we didn't have internet at the time, and we just, like, you know, played PS2 for fun. And we got, like, so many great games just off used, like, $5 deals at at GameStop, you know, and there's so many little, like, hidden gems for PS2 also that you know, you just wouldn't find things like that for Nintendo 64.
Yeah, I mean, I can agree with you there, but, you know, a lot of that stuff had to deal with, like, everybody was moving to disc, whereas Nintendo decided to say, hey, no, we about the cartridges. We got to put it on cartridge. Got to be cartridge. So.
Good point.
Like, you know, if they had saw it like they did and they went with disc earlier, I mean, they did go with disc eventually because of GameCube, but it's like if they hopped on that, you know, it probably would have been a little bit better. But they did try to do like a disc external thing for N64, and that didn't look good at all. So, you know, it's one of those kind of things.
I don't remember that. What was that called?
It was called the 64DD, the disc drive. And they were going to actually put Zelda on that, believe it or not. Ocarina of Time was going to be on that. And I guess the interest just wasn't there. And, yeah.
Oh, you mean people weren't interested in buying a whole, like, separate attachment and, like, format for the game just for a game they could already play on that console? Seems weird, doesn't it?
Well, you know the funny thing about that, if we consider 32X and how successful that was, along with Sega CD, then, you know, it's not really that far of a fetch.
What was 32X? What was 32X?
God, yeah, that's a full episode right there. But look, 32X was that thing, that mushroom-shaped thing they put on top of the Genesis, because allegedly it would max it out to like 32.
Oh,
you know what I mean? 32 bits as a way of, like, keeping it alive.
Yeah.
That damn thing sucked ass, dude. I hated that thing. I was like, my dad bought that thing, and he thought that thing was like gold. I was like, hell no. This is awful.
There's like a second, like, mini Sega that you have to, like, stuff into the cartridge slot, right? The first Sega.
And even
so weird.
Then, it was shit, dude, because, like, the games that were for it weren't even great. You could tell that one way or another,
Yeah.
like Sega of Japan and Sega of America were fighting each other. So, because everybody who paid attention knew the Sega Saturn was coming, but the Sega Saturn is oh god, that's a whole damn other conversation itself. That oh shit. But it's still bad because why would you waste time on this thing when you know a whole new system is coming? And if anything, it's already 32-bit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And 32-bit was just weird too. I think I remember this is reminding me like late in the Genesis era, I got one of the 3D Sonic games. I don't know if it was the Sonic Pinball. It was one of it's still 16-bit, but like one of the kind of like attempts at 3D games from Sega.
Oh, 3D Blast?
Just like it didn't do so. Yeah, I think that was it. 3D Blast. That sounds right.
That.
Yeah, and it was it was like okay, but it just like it took them a while to get 3D right. And honestly, like I mean, even like 64 with like early Mario, like first edition of that, where they with like the camera angles and stuff, there was a lot of like room for improvement.
Oh yeah.
But I don't know. I just think it's hard to even do like a good like 3D action environment with less than 64 bits.
I mean, give or take, like there's room for argument in that, but the truth is, it's like, I mean, it was relatively new at the time, so I mean, we can't really fault them for that, like prototyping and all. I mean, if anything, the one that really went about bragging about that shit was Atari Jaguar on its last legs. Remember that crap? Remember Jaguar? It was supposed to be the first.
I don't.
Oh my god, dude, you got to look that up because that
might
right
be
there
too young for that.
Oh, dude.
Atari,
if you didn't hear about it, it's a good thing you didn't. Pretty much, because it's one of those under the radar kind of things that they try to run with, and it sucked ass. If anything, the Nintendo 64 is pretty much Atari Jaguar done right. Let's just say that.
Okay. All right. Yeah, there were some weird little like side side things that came out in the 90s and like early 2000s that never really took off. And Sega Saturn, I remember that it was like kind of stayed around, and you can talk about Dreamcast. That was, I don't know, I mean, that was kind of a main system, but
Dreamcast was too beautiful for the world, dude. Dreamcast was too beautiful.
Yeah.
That's all there is to it. I still look at mine, and it's still pristine white. There's no yellowing at all, and I'm like, I love you.
Dreamcast, like it felt like it would be a lot of fun to play.
It is.
I think I remember playing some fun games on Dreamcast too, but I not as much as PS2. I think it's like my main nostalgia console.
Hey, I mean, that's not a bad way of going about things, man. That's a good pick, because I mean, both of them were just great. I mean, if Dreamcast had like a DVD player in it, it probably could have measured up. You never know. It's just one of them kind of things.
That's true. Yeah, it was pretty next level at the time.
Mm-hmm. And I mean, like the ads for it and all. It's like it's just, it came at the right time, but it also fell apart at the right time. That's just one of those kind of things. She was too beautiful for the world, as I say. I will honor it and play it again someday. Well, probably later on after the interview. One of them kind of things. But yeah, man, I mean, like, it's nice to go back through the journeys and stuff. Like, if I ever do like a sub-series of the Power Play or something where we go through that, I know who I'm inviting. I'll invite you.
Yeah, man. I'd love to do that. That's awesome.
Hey, I'm coming up with new ideas from you guys just as much as I hope I'm inspiring you guys to come up with new ideas. That's what we do here. We build dreams.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, man. I'll be looking forward to seeing it.
You know it, brother.
Always getting new inspiration from your shows. So,
thanks. Really appreciate it. Now, actually, no, we didn't even leave it. What am I talking about? Gee, what am I on these days? All right, look.
Still here?
Yeah. I think, once again, it's that 30-plus senility that just comes into play. I'm sure by the time I hit 35, I'll be insane. So,
I feel that way, too, sometimes.
Right? Shoot, you might be in the same boat as me, right? You're like 34, too, right?
Yeah, just about. I'm 30. What am I? 33. 33.
Oh, okay. Well, that's not too bad, man.
No, 32. I'll be 33 this year.
Hey, man, you're not curving yourself just because you want to be younger than Jim, man, right?
Took me a little.
I'm just saying.
No.
I'm just saying. You're not trying to mark the age.
Are you
now.
right around that too? Are you?
I'm 34.
Did I get in just under you?
Yeah, you're under me.
Okay.
I'm definitely 34, you know? Like, I'm not going to deny it, you know? Like, nowadays, those knees be talking to you and all that kind of stuff. Of course, I try to stay limber, but the thing is, like, once you hit that 30, you know. You know?
Yeah, no, it's true, man. That's a true thing. Like, I try to stay active, but it's definitely like, I think no matter what, you start to like feel it a little more around age 30.
Yeah. I mean, as we get long in the tooth, at least we know that we had a good, strong brotherhood here and all that other crazy stuff. And then all of a sudden we start counting off who didn't get hit by the Reaper. That's just the way life is.
Yeah.
But yeah,
that's true.
Like I said,
that's true.
Making marks here, bro. Hey, by the way, this song here actually has a very funny title to it. Would you like to introduce it?
Yeah. So I think this one is going to be Sax Maniac, right? Is that the one you got coming up?
Yeah, man. So how sexy was she?
Good question, Jay. Well, I'll just give you a little more background on this one. Sax Maniac, yeah, man. This one, this one features some electronic sax. I was really like torn about the live sax versus the electronic sax. It's really hard to get that good like live sax sound, but no. You can see some great examples in like for example. Coming to America, the Soul Glow theme song, one of my favorite uses of an electric saxophone, which is what inspired the sort of sax tone that was used on this track. So Sax Maniac, it's called. It's about, a particular, like, a maniac on the sax. And there's a little more to it. I've got a video coming out for this song in the next couple of weeks. So
very nice.
Yeah, with that, yeah, totally, man.
Hey, your turn to introduce, man. Go ahead.
Well, without further ado, Jay, here's Sax Maniac.
You got it. right, that right there was Sax Maniac from Neon Sweatsuit. Great track, awesome stuff, man. Like I said before, y'all need to check out that album, for real, for real. And you know something? As we get into it, though, you know, the party doesn't have to stop there. We're going to go ahead and give you guys a fourth track in a little bit. But I got to say, my man, you know something? Every time I listen to that, it really makes me think of a woman.
Yeah?
I guess. I don't know. I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. Yeah, it does make me think of women, too. You know, that bluesy sax playing
good.
like
I
that.
mean...
Okay, round two. Name something that's not boring.
A laundry? Ooh, a book club. Computer solitaire, huh?
Ah, sorry, we were looking for Chumba Casino. That's right, ChumbaCasino.com has over 100 casino-style games. Join today and play for free for your chance to redeem some serious prizes. ChumbaCasino.com. No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited by law. 18+ terms and conditions apply. See website for details.
Yeah. Well, sure. You know, I mean, I think like a good song should be able to like be interpreted any which way by whomever is listening to it. Don't you think?
Yeah. You know, you should tell Survey Channel that. I still don't see the weed. I'm just kidding. A little reference to episode 8. By the way, Survey, love you, man. I just had to go ahead with that. But yeah, most definitely, dude. I love saxophones, and you know, a long time ago, I used to play trumpet.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm. It was awesome, and I have one here, but you know, I gotta work on my embouchure again, and I already want to do too many things, so I'm just gonna stick with trying to play the guitar and match you guys.
Yeah.
That's
That's
thing.
funny. I used to play the baritone in
Ooh,
band.
nice.
You know, like in school band. I mean.
Oh yeah, it's still nice.
So yeah, I was there with you in the brass section too. So
brass family for life. You know, we make the band.
Yeah, totally.
I always do that to mess with you know, other people who played band too, because you can always tell they're like, hey, what you say that for? You know, we of the woodwinds, we did. Ain't nobody think about y'all. Brass is where it's at. Brass or your ass. Don't you understand?
Trumpets really are like, oh yeah, they're important.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm. And then here come the percussionist looking over. I was like, what you say? What?
Yeah. True. And when I was in middle school, though, like they didn't really let you go crazy on the percussion. Like oh man, I think it's like you had to do like the pads because otherwise they knew everybody would do it just so they could like slam on the big bass drums and stuff. So
yeah,
I had to like, you know, they doled all that stuff out, meted it out carefully. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
All these kids,
I mean,
a million kids slamming snare drums.
I mean, you know, like, what else would they expect you to do? I mean, you're supposed to be having that kind of fun, but I guess it could get kind of noisy, but it's just one of them kind of things where, like, when people practice like that, you know, they're developing rhythm and hooks.
Exactly. You gotta, like love what you're playing, you know what I mean? Like,
See, just like when just like when you and Space Force made that song, I was like, that's beautiful. These guys have resonated and achieved an arrangement that's so incredible here. And same thing with, like, oh god, it's just awesome, like the way you guys handled that song.
Yeah, thanks, man. Well, yeah, that was an awesome time working with Space Force doing that. We did a couple of tracks on his latest release, and Through the Universe.
Yes.
One of them. Yeah. Anthem, I think, is the other. So, yeah. That was a lot of fun, man. Space Force is like one of the people. It's just been like super awesome to like get to know all these other artists personally and like work with some of them. You know,
it warms my heart to see everybody in the Jam fam coming together and uniting like that. That's really cool.
Yeah, it is.
And that's why it leads to a great show like this, my man. You know, speaking of which...
Bonus track, incoming transmission from J360 Jams. Party Lord by Neon Sweatsuit.
Sheer, and this is Neon Sweatsuit. Neon Sweatsuit with that amazing bonkers, awesome song. It's bonkers, bonkers, bonkers. Thank you, Neon Sweatsuit.
Transmission ended.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, that was Party Lord by Neon Sweatsuit. Thank you, J360 Jams. See you this Friday. Now, isn't that amazing? We got an episode this Friday, man. We got a one gig to another gig.
Yeah.
But I love doing J360 Jams, and this 27th episode is going to be a grand undertaking. It is the anniversary episode. Now, I know we're not going to exactly hit June 27th, but by the time June 27th hits, Jams has been on officially for 1 year.
Man, hell of a year.
Yes, it has. Very interesting ride, and I'm telling you one thing. I don't want to be stroking my ego. I hope it did. I hope that Jams made everybody's life a lot easier. I really do. I hope that it did.
Yeah. Let me just speak for myself here, since I'm here.
Yeah, sure.
Say that Jams. Yeah, it did, man. I mean, we've been kind of talking on and off the air a bit, but just like the I'll say again, if I've already said this on the air, that like having the ability to find these little like communities online, and just like the extent to which you can have like a community with like chatting and like everybody kind of gets to know each other. Yeah, that's been super helpful for someone like me who can't do their normal band. We're now getting back to it, I should say, but yeah, it's been great this past year. So, congrats, man, full year.
Yeah, shout outs and thank you, man, and happy Jammaversary to you, by the way.
Yeah, man, happy Jammaversary too.
Yep, 1 year. And to all a good night, right?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Hey, speaking of which, man, before we break off, I want to know this. Do you have any links that you want to let people know about, like where they can reach you, how they can listen to your music and throw their support behind you? And you can include your other project as well.
On to Spotify if you want to listen to the latest album, Sweaty Pants, Sweaty Dance. Any of the tracks you heard, they are from that album or from my previous October 2020 release. So Spotify. You can also find me on YouTube, where you'll see the little like animated videos that I post. Usually we'll go to YouTube, and then Instagram too. Follow me on Instagram, and I usually I'll interact and comment and stuff. So that's kind of where I've got to know you, Jay, and a lot of other people from the Jam fam.
Yep. And man, like I said, you've been a delight on the show, bro. I'm just glad. I'm still, you know what I mean? I still can't believe you're like right here, right now, but it's true. We did it. This was a grand episode.
Yeah,
bro.
We did it.
Mm-hmm. And you know what, though? I hope
glad
you come
I
back.
could be a part of it.
You know it, man. I hope you can come back for other episodes, because we got a lot to talk about.
Ooh, man, I for all the like 2 hours we spent, like I feel like we kind of just scratched the surface. So
yeah,
I have to do another time.
Yep, that's gonna be a given. Oh man, because I know Jack wants to come back. I know Space Force wants to come back. Hey, maybe we can have like a bridge club with that one. That'd be cool.
Yeah, that sounds awesome.
You know it. Oh man, and let's see. Oh yes, definitely thinking about putting you on 27. You know, you need to be on 27. That's the truth.
Yeah, totally. I will get my submissions to you on that, because it's been a while. I missed one, but try not to miss any jams.
Hey man, as long as you're there in the audience and stuff, and everybody's just jamming out, pun.
Yeah.
Then we're doing it right, So no worries and no rushes. Just take your time. But I do know this has been one spectacular episode. This has been one successful event, and we are totally going to do it again next year. Thanks again to Neon Sweatsuit, and thanks again to all of you for tuning in and listening and all. Happy Jammaversary again. This is J-Man signing off. Peace.
Okay, round two. Name something that's not boring.
A laundry? Ooh, a book club. Computer solitaire, huh?
Ah, sorry, we were looking for Chumba Casino. That's right, ChumbaCasino.com has over 100 casino-style games. Join today and play for free for your chance to redeem some serious prizes. ChumbaCasino.com. No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited by law. 18+ terms and conditions apply. See website for details.